Okay. Very good morning, guys. So last day, we just been completed talking about language interoperability, how to consume the C# code in VB, and how to consume the VB code in C#. Both the two things were just been checked out. C# code in VB consumption and VB code in C# consumption. Both things. And then we started up our discussion talking about finalizers. So what's a finalizer? I said, finalizer is going to be a method, a special method, just like a constructor. But this method works in opposite to constructor. What is meant by opposite to constructor? Opposite to constructor in the sense, constructor methods will execute when the instance is created. Finalizer methods will execute when the instance is destroyed. Both will have the same name, guys. But constructors can have modifiers, constructors can have parameters. But what is it about a finalizer? No modifiers, no parameters, no overloading, nothing is allowed. Okay? So in a class, can have multiple constructors? In a class, can have multiple constructors or not? Overloading. But in a class, I cannot have multiple finalizers. Constructors are explicitly called or implicitly called? Constructors are brainless fellows, explicitly called here. Oh, we learned about it now. Defining can be implicit or explicit. Calling must be explicit. You must call a constructor when creating an instance. Constructors are explicitly called. Don't again make the same mistakes. You're repeating these mistakes again. Number of times I said you, again you're telling the same. Implicit or explicit? Explicit. But when you talk about finalizers, finalizers are implicitly called. We don't call a finalizer. Who calls? Garbage collector. Who calls a finalizer? Garbage collector calls a finalizer. And when will garbage collector call a finalizer? Yesterday I was talking about this point only. Garbage collector can call the finalizer in 3 different scenarios. Correct? So today, let us see that practically, when will garbage collector call the finalizer? When will garbage collector call the finalizer? But if finalizer is called means what is the meaning, Memory is released, deallocated, released. Exact word is releasing. Releasing the memory. Okay? And one thing I pinpointed you in the last class here, what it is, guys, you can't see this in, you cannot see the execution of the finalizer in the .NET Core. .NET Core projects, you cannot see the execution of the finalizers. So let us go with using what? Framework projects. Let's go for using a framework project. Okay. So we'll also understand about the framework projects. Guys, have a look. Open Visual Studio. Create a new project. Yeah. Let's go back to console. Let's go back to console. Okay, we are back into console. Now, look at this console apps now. You just watch. Till now, we selected this one, remember? I very clearly pointed you, do be careful, don't select .NET Framework, I said you. Now I'm selecting this. Understood? These are framework. A project for creating a command line application, observe it. These projects will run on Linux, Mac, and Windows, but these projects will run only on Windows. Already said your window framework is only for Windows. Core means Linux, Mac, Windows. Okay, now? So let's choose it. Next. Give a name for it. Some name, guys, any name. I'm giving the name as Finalizers Project. Finalizers project. Our own folder, same folder only, C# 9. And here, it'll ask you to choose your framework version. And in the drop down, see the list of all the framework versions. Choose whatever latest you want, you have. Don't worry, sir, I don't have 4.8. 4.8 is the higher version. In the starting days when I asked you to install Visual Studio, if you remember or not, I asked you go to additional components and select all the check boxes under .NET. I said you. If you've done that, you will get the latest. If you don't have 4.8, you have 4.7, 4.7.2 also, no problem here. What is the latest you have selected there? That's all. Clearer or not? Okay. So I have the latest, that is 4.8. After 4.8, we don't have framework anymore. That is the last version. Clearer? Next, create. Means in core, guys, we choose the framework version in the third screen. One more screen will open for you and ask you to choose this. But in framework, that will come on the project name screen only. Where you enter the project name, solution name, there only you will get it. But in core, you won't get it. Again, you click on the next, one more screen will come showing you versions to choose, a drop down for this. But in framework, where you will see that? You will see that directly in the project name, where you are entering the project name, there only you will see. Okay. So, yeah. Guys, watch it. Old versions, na? So in old version, we don't have top level elements concept. So compulsory it will write you a class and give you like this. Array, up to C# 9, you will see code like this only. In C# 10 only, what you will see? Console.writeline, hello world. That's all. Understood me? Okay. So exactly same. Array, nothing new here. You know the class, everything you know. I don't require to give you explanation for you. By default, we have imports. All the things came. Here also we have a class. What is the class? Program class. Here also the program class is common. All are common. Nothing is new here. Okay. Just a second. Yeah, guys, just to test this, open a new console application project in .NET Framework. Name it as Finalizers project. Rename the default class. What is the default class? Program as Destructor Demo 1. Anything here, your choice, no issue. But I use the particular names there, that's all. Come here, open. And I already said, if you want to rename the class, don't rename the class, rename the file is what I suggested. You're correct? So rename the file. Come on. Destructor Demo. When you rename the file and hit the enter key, watch it, it will ask you. You're renaming a file. Would you also like to perform a rename in this project for all references to the code element? Means wherever program is there, shall I rename with class 1? Des demo 1? That's what it's asking you. Yes, rename everything. So when I say yes here, automatically class name will change there, see? Class name will change out. Wherever this name is present, in all places it will change out the name now. That's demo 1. Okay now? Let us now define one constructor and one finalizer in this code. Let's now define one constructor and one finalizer in the code. Okay now? Public Des demo 1. What is this? Constructor. What is this? Finalizer. Now understand, how do I, how do I know instance is created? Constructor called means instance created. Array, constructor called means instance created. Already explained you. Constructor call, instance created. Now the question is, how do I know instance is destroyed? Finalizer called. If your finalizer is called means instance destroyed. If the constructor is called means instance created. So look at this, guys. That only I'm writing here. Console.writeline. What? If you get this message, what is the meaning? Constructor called, instance created. And to understand about instance getting destroyed, instance is destroyed. So finalizer call, instance destroyed. We have a constructor, we have a finalizer in the code. Okay. Now come below. I'm creating the instance of the class. Des demo 1 d1 is equals to new Des demo. Like this, guys, I wanted to create multiple instances to my class. And every time you create an instance, constructor is called. Every time constructor called, memory is allocated. Already explained all these concepts to you one day when I explained about instances, references, and variables. Okay, so you can see now 3 times we created the instance, 3 times the constructor is called for you. Yeah, run. One class only, no need of setting any startup object or anything. Run the code. Are you clear? So 3 instances created, you got it now? Now our requirement now is not to understand about constructor calling. We already know about constructor calling. We already know about constructor calling. We learned it. No need to learn about constructor calling now. We are very clear about constructor calling. What we want to know today is about finalizer calling, instance destroyed. Come on, let's come back. When the instance of a class is destroyed, I said who will destroy the instance of a class? I said garbage collector, not finalizer. Who will destroy? Garbage collector. So whenever garbage collector is destroying the instance of a class, at that point of time, finalizer gets called. At that time, finalizer gets called. See, you create the instance, constructor is called. Garbage collector destroys the instance, finalizer gets called. So to understand constructor called, to understand instance created, check constructor calling. To understand instance destroyed, check finalizer calling. Is it clearer, all of you? Okay. Now look at this code. When will garbage collector destroy the instance of a class? When will garbage collector destroy the instance of a class? And already I clarified you in the last session. Garbage collector can destroy the instance of a class in any of the 3 scenarios. What are the 3 scenarios? Case number 1. End of the program's execution. End of the program's execution. All of you have a look on the code I have written here. What did I write? Created 3 instances. Afterwards, read line. Now tell me, this code execution is completed or not? Yes or not? What is executing now? Read line is executing. Where? Yes, na? Read line is executing there, see? Understood, all of you? What is executing? Read line. Waiting for the input. When will read line execution complete? When I hit the enter key. When I hit the enter key, read line execution is completed, correct? Now tell me, after read line, do you have any code to execute? So is that the end of the program? Tell me confidently. All the instances are destroyed by the garbage collector. Clear? Understood me? All the instances are destroyed by the garbage collector. Garbage collector came into action and destroyed all the instances that are associated with this particular program. This is the first thing I said you. End of the program, garbage collector comes into action, identifies all the objects, all the instances or objects associated with the program and destroys them. Proven? Tell me, why I taken the framework project is, if I take core project, you won't see this message. Microsoft has simply said that you cannot see that, but why they has blocked it? They did not tell that anywhere. The documentation did not tell anywhere why. That is why I too don't know why it is not showing that. Okay, so that's why I thought, okay, if at all you want to practically show you, let me open a framework project. In a framework project that comes to you, that's why I opened a framework project. Understood me? Fine. So this is the instance creation. This is the instance. Destruction is what we want to learn now. So one thing is proven. End of the program execution. All the instances will be destroyed by the garbage collector, releasing the memory. Are you clear? How to hold the screen? Control F5 here. Control F5. How do you hold the screen? Control F5. We already learned about it now. To run a program, two options, F5, Control F5. Okay. So actually guys, we use the read line statement here, but still to run the program, we should use Control F5, not F5. If I use F5, what happens, Wait. If I use F5, concentrate on the screen. Window will close up. You can't see the output. And it is printing here, but closing of the window immediately. We can't see that. That's why use Control F5 and run. I mentioned that in the notes for you already. I mentioned that run the program by using Control plus F5. Okay. So that you can see the output clearly on screen now. Okay now? First scenario is very clear. What is that? End of the program, all objects are destroyed by garbage collector. What is the second scenario I said you? Tomorrow, when you develop some applications, the applications will be very huge. Huge applications will be there. And these applications here, you start in the morning, you again stop it only in the evening. You build an application for an employee of a bank to do his day-to-day transactions. What happens? When the employee comes to the office in the morning, he opens the application and waits for the customers to come now. Yes or not? Again, when he will stop that application, end of the day, that's all. For every customer, will he close and open the application? Huh? Tell me? No. So the application will be continuously running or not? Yes or not? Now see, if end of the application, garbage collector will destroy everything now. But my application is ending only in the night now. I started morning 9 o'clock, again stopped at 6 o'clock. From 9 to 6, this 9 hours, the application is continuously running now. Yes or not? In this scenario, there is a problem not. What is the problem? When application is not closed, garbage collector will not destroy the unused objects. So all these objects in the memory, some point of time, your memory is full now and the application starts running slow, performing slow now. Am I right? To avoid this, what happens, your applications don't run directly under the OS, remember. Your applications run under the CLR, under the control of CLR, within the control of framework monitored by CLR, correct? And when I expand about the CLR, I expand you 3 components in the CLR. Remember, security manager, which will take care of the security. JIT compiler, responsible for converting the IL code into machine code. And the third component is the garbage collector. This garbage collector is responsible for memory management. So now, your application is inside the runtime. Okay? Monitored by CLR. Your application is running under the control of the runtime. Monitored by CLR. Remember all these things? And this CLR, what it will do, periodically, it will call the garbage collector telling, go identify unused objects and destroy them. Go identify the unused objects and destroys them. So periodically garbage collector comes now, keeps on identifying the unused objects and destroys them. And that is not in my control. I can't show that. I cannot show that. That's not in my control. Who uses it? CLR. CLR implicitly invokes the garbage collector so that garbage collector comes into picture, identifies unused objects and destroys it. Means program is running. Program did not stop. What did garbage collector do? Garbage collector came now. It is picking all the unused objects, destroying, clearing the memory. Did you catch my point or not? Did you see shopping malls? In the shopping malls, you see your washrooms. When you go to theaters and shopping malls, big shopping malls, washrooms. In the washrooms, did you notice it? For every 1 hour, a person comes and cleans the washrooms. Why? Lot of people comes there. If you just clean early in the morning and leave it until evening, by afternoon, it will be smelling. Yes or not? For that particular reason, have you noticed it? Every hour, the cleaning process will go on. Understood or not? Normal, if you in your home or somewhere, then also you clean the washroom. Not every hour, na? You clean it a day. Okay, clean it a day or 2 days or thrice a day, something like this. Okay, but when you come to shopping malls, lot of crowd, lot of people using it. So that's why they just keep on cleaning. Means the management has recruited the FM services, and these services, what will they do? Their job every 1 hour clean all the washrooms. Understood me? So exactly the garbage collector comes on periodically. What will it do? Identifies the unused objects and destroys those unused objects. I hope you guys are clear. Tell me. So this is the second scenario. One, it destroys. But I can't show you that because that is not in my control. But that is not in the end of the program. That is in the middle of the program. Case number 3. That is also middle of the program only. That is also middle of the program only. But what? In the case number 2, what did I say? CLR will implicitly call the garbage collector to perform a cleanup of unused objects. What is case number 3, you know? We means developer, can call the garbage collector explicitly to identify unused objects and destroy. Did you understand? What CLR is doing, I can do now. What I can do, I can call the garbage collector telling, clean it. Are you clear? See guys, for every 1 hour or 2 hours, there is a policy for cleaning the washroom here. Okay? But what happened, you know, when you entered in the washroom, someone has spoiled the washroom and it is looking very dirty. Yes or not? Now you can ask the cleaner, "Arey, please clean the washroom." Understood my point? In that situation, no, I will clean it after 2 hours. He can't say that. Why? You can't wait until 2 hours. The washroom is dirty. So it has to be clean now. You may do it for half an hour after cleaning, only someone spoiled it. So now you can call him and say, clean the room now. Are you clearer or not? So this is also the same concept. What is it? I can call garbage collector now and tell it, identify the unused objects and destroy them. How to call? How can you call? Last day I already explained you. There is a predefined class called GC. Under that, there is a method called collect. GC dot collect. What will it do? It will identify all the unused objects in the program and destroys them. Shall we try that now? Okay. Where should I call it? My question is before read line or after read line? Before read line or after read line? Before read line. Calling after read line is foolish, guys. Why? After read line, that is end of the program. Anyhow, garbage collector will come. How is it, you know, calling after read line is how, you know, the train is about to stop on the platform. You're pulling the chain now. How foolish is it? Yes or not? The time is about to stop on the platform now and you're going and pulling the chain to stop the train now. That will come to stop here. It's about to stop only. So here also, after a console that right line, at the end of the program, anyhow, garbage collector will come. I don't require to call it now. Got it or not? So where it should be done? Before read line. Okay, let's try GC dot. What happened? Keyboard not working. Just a minute, guys. Keyboard not working. కీబోర్డ్ పని చేయట్లేదు నానేం పిల్లండి కీబోర్డ్ ఎందుకు మార్చాడు లేడా? అసలు వైర్ తీసి పెట్టండి ఒకసారి. అసలు కీబోర్డ్ ఎందుకు మార్చాడు ఏమో, అది కాదు. రమ్మనండి అన్ని రమ్మనండి. అది కాదు, ఆ కీబోర్డ్ కాదు. Okay, fine. So coming back, yeah, I want to call the garbage collector. So let's call gc dot collect. gc dot collect. So when you call gc dot collect, I'm calling it in the middle of the program. I'm calling it in the middle of the program's execution. So when I call this in the middle of the program's execution, what is going to happen? Yeah. Now it has to destroy the objects before read line or after read line. Before? Okay, let's see. Control F5. Not destroyed, guys. Now also destroyed after read line only. But we called it, sir. We called it not destroyed. That's what I said you earlier. It will destroy unused objects, not every object. Because garbage collector came now, if it destroys all the objects now, your program will terminate now. Understood my point or not? What it destroys? Unused objects. Only unused objects are destroyed. Understood my point or not? Only unused objects are destroyed. So now there is no unused object in your code here. That is the reason why it is not destroyed. And for this reason only I said you how to mark an object as unused. How to mark? By assigning null here. Don't eat up the answer. You mark an object unused by assigning null. Not null. Assign null. When I assign null, I'm marking it as unused. Remember, when I explained you this concept called to you, I said you this is called as a dereferencing. At this point of time, memory won't be deallocated. It is only going to mark it as unused. And all these unused objects are identified and destroyed. Identified and destroyed by the garbage collector at some point of time. See now, how many objects you marked as used? How many? One. So run the code and watch. One object should be destroyed before read line and the remaining two after read line. Is that clear? Is it clear now? Garbage collector will destroy unused objects, sir? Yeah. Yes or not? Unused object means no one should be using that. That is unused object. See now, I am going to mark D3 is equals to null. So tomorrow when you're writing the code in the real time, remember this one. What's when you're writing small programs, not a problem. When you're writing big applications, when you're developing big applications, make a habit of marking your objects as null in the end of the use. You created an object, used it, work finished. Once the work is finished, make a habit of marking it as null. When you mark it null, when garbage collector comes, garbage collector will deallocate. You don't call garbage collector. I'm not saying call the garbage collector. I'm only saying what? Mark it unused and leave it. Anyhow, implicitly garbage collector will come periodically to watch. That will take care of it. Okay now? So you see two objects are marked as null. You see? Two are destroyed before read line and the other one is after read line. The same thing, Raju. That is also same. Okay, so two are destroyed before read line and one is destroyed after the read line. Are you clear? So you can just watch it like this. So now this is going to be destroyed after the read line statement to you. So that is how exactly we just go for writing it up. Okay, now fine. Now look at this. What? If you look at this code, if you just look at this, we very clearly watched up. Like this is happening not in the end of the execution, this is happening in the middle of the execution. 2 is also same here. I did not show you 2, but in 2, that is implicit call. Who will call? CLR will call. Who will call? CLR will call. Who called now in the third case? I called. I'll tell you a simple example for you to understand all the three. Yeah? You went to a restaurant with a group of friends. You guys first ordered for some starters. Got it? You ate the starters. Now you ordered for the main course. You ordered for the main course. Now see, when you ordered for the starters and complete the starters, and when you order for the main course, before bringing the main course, all the empty plates on the table should be cleared. Yes or not? All the empty plates on the table should be cleared. Otherwise, the table doesn't have space to put the main course on the table now. At that time, you notice it, what happens? The server brings you the food. The complete table is full of plates. What he will do? He will call the cleaner. He will call the cleaner. What will the cleaner do? The cleaner will come now and remove all the plates, all the empty plates. All the plates, all the empty plates. All the empty plates, not all the plates. When the food is present in the plate, he won't remove that. What he will remove is only empty plates are removed. Understood my point? That's what you are still eating food. Now the cleaner comes and removes all the plates now. You're eating food and you will take the plates now. What he removes is only empty plates. All the empty plates are removed. Class Okay. So all empty plates are removed in this context. Understood all of you? Fine. Second scenario. Okay. This all the empty. Who called the cleaner? You called. Who called? The server called. Who called? Server called. Both of them are employees of the hotel. Both of them are employees of the restaurant and he called. And that is implicit calling. That is case 2. That is case 2. That is case 2. So whenever the server brings a food on your table, if he finds more number of plates, he will call the server telling clear all the empty plates. He clears and he puts the food on the table. Clearer? Now case 1. What is case 1? What is case 2? What is case 3? Let's talk on 3. What is 3? The food is on that. Your hand hit the glass and the water got spilled on the table now. Your hand hit the glass and the water got spilled on the table and the table is looking dirty. The table is looking dirty and the water is spreading all over the table. What do? You call the cleaner now. You call the cleaner telling, please clean the table. Yes or not? Then also, the same thing happens. Then also when he cleans the table, then also he will be removing all the empty plates on the table. Correct? Yes or not? Once he comes to your table, he will always clear you all the empty plates on the table. All the empty plates are removed on the table. Now also see, only empty plates are removed. You people completed eating food, left, paid the bill, left. Now the cleaner again comes there and cleans what? All the tables. Sorry, all the plates. The plate may contain food in it. If the plate contains food in it, will he run behind you and ask you, shall I clean it or leave it for you? No, nah? You left the place. When you left the place, there is no point of asking. So what is cleared? All this. That is the case 1 what I explained you. What is case 1? All objects are destroyed. Case 2 and case 3, unused objects are destroyed. Understand? When you leave the table, all plates are cleared. When you are eating the food, when you are sitting on the table and still eating the food, at that time only empty plates are cleared. Understood? In that also, implicit calling, explicit calling. Implicit calling means the server calls the cleaner. Explicit calling means I call the cleaner. Okay now? Clear with all the 3 scenarios now? That is what exactly the garbage collector is doing for you to destroy the unused objects that are associated with your programs. Okay, fine. One more thing I just want to show you here. Let me add another class, guys. Same process, adding a class same only. Even in the framework project also, the way you add a class is same, no difference. I'll name it as Destructor Demo 2. Destructor Demo 2. You notice one thing, in a core project, I used to remove all the using statements along with system also. Why? Because I said you in .NET 10 we have implicit imports. Default imports are there. I already explained to you. Yes or not? In framework we don't have. Compulsory you need to import all the things. If I delete that system also, console.writeline will not work. Clear? So that's why I'm leaving that particular using system. By default you have all. Unnecessary things we remove. But compulsory, what is required you must import, because we don't have any default imports or implicit imports here. We don't have that actually, because we are working with which version of the C#? 4.8 means the last, it is going to be 7.3. 7.3. From 8 onwards, you can use it only on core. From 8 onwards, you can use it only on the core. With the framework, the last version that runs is 7.3. So C# version is 7.3. Okay. So, okay, fine. Let me write one constructor and finalizer here also. Copy paste here. Same code. Copy. Paste here. Names are different. 2. Now again, I'll write a main method. Sorry guys, I got disconnected. Yeah, there's something wrong with my system today. I got disconnected. Okay, fine. Uh, yeah. Again, I define a constructor and I define a finalizer. I define a constructor and a finalizer again. Static void main. I'll create an instance desdemo2 obj is equals to new desdemo2. And I'm creating only one instance. And I want to run this class. To run the class, what we used to do is startup object. Where do we set? In the project file. In the project file, we open and set the startup object. What you do? You just open the studio and Solution Explorer, double click on the project. It will open you the project file, correct? Yes or not? But now it won't open here. In the framework, it won't open like this. What to do? Simple. Right click on the project and choose the option properties. There it is, edit project file. But you won't find edit project file here. What you should select? Properties. It opens you the project property window. This is a GUI, guys. That is CUI. This is GUI environment. This is a GUI. To set the startup object, okay, very simple process here. What you'll find here. And the drop down will show you the classes that contains the main method. What happened? Today everything is running wrong. Don't know why. It has to show you the startup object in the list, guys. Hold on a minute. What is wrong? I did not understand. Let me reopen the project. Something wrong with my studio. Shit. I don't know what happened. Actually, the startup object, all the classes which contain the main method should be shown here. Every class, 2022 Visual Studio. Why is it not showing? I don't know. Okay, we'll do one thing. Let's try in 2019 once. Ah, let me try with the 2019. I don't know what they modified in 2022, but generally all the stop talking here. Generally, all the objects should be coming up in a list there. Okay. In 2019 means the UI will be different. UI will be okay. C sharp, Windows, choose console. .NET Framework. Say, to run that code, if I remove the main method in one class, automatically second class will run off. That's not a matter. But just wanted to show you that that's all. That all the class list should come there. If I want to run that in the project, that is a simple deal. What do you do? Go to the first class, delete the main method. Automatically, one main method only, second class will run off. You can run off. The point is not about resolving the issue and showing you. Just we need to get the list of all the things there. That's what I wanted to show. It has to show you. In class, there is main method, the list should come here. Okay. 2020 also I shown you earlier, shown to other students earlier, yeah, why it is not working today, I don't know. Suddenly I need to restart my system or something. You can try on your machine. If you face the problem, only solution, what you'll do? Go to one class, first class, remove the main method. Comment the main method, that's all. Automatically, single main method, the second class will run off. But you need to get that list. That's the point. So something wrong somewhere, don't know why. Okay, test demo 1. Yeah. Yeah, this is my first program. So you remember Control F5. First, what you'll see? The 3 instances created. Afterwards, instances getting tested based on here we set 2 as marked as unused and we call gc.collect. Okay, that's commented. So because it's commented, all are tested in the last. What is it? Case number 1. End of the program, everything is tested. If you want to test the third case, uncomment this code. And when you run that, oh, 2 are tested before read line, 1 after read line. This is case number 3. 2 we cannot test, 1 and 3. Okay. So the second thing I shown you is add a new class, name it as test demo 2. And here also what you'll do, add one constructor, add one finalizer, come here, test demo 2 obj is equals to new test demo 2 console dot readline. So now if you go to the project properties window, you must find both the 2 classes here. How many main method? If main method is there, the class name should come there. No main method, class name won't be shown there. Okay. So which class you want to run? Test demo 2. Run. Control F5. Nothing here new, guys. What you saw here is only one is created and destroyed. The bug in VS. Okay, let me. I know here I just shown in my previous batches. In my previous batches, I already shown that. That's not an issue. Not coming it right. Okay, leave it. So instance created. Put in silent mode, yeah. Switch it off. Okay. So instance is created. Instance is destroyed. One instance created, one instance destroyed. Nothing new. The same thing what we saw in the previous program, right? What I want to show you newly is, guys, I'm inheriting this class from test demo 1. And you, all of you know that whenever you created the instance of the child class constructor implicitly calls the parent class constructor. So now parent class and child class, two constructors gets called now, right? Parent class constructor, child class constructor. So the new thing what I want to tell is not only constructor, finalizer also calls. Did you notice it? You created one instance only, don't forget, but 2 times why it printed? Parent, child. Just like constructor calls parent, finalizer also, parent call will be done. But what is the difference, Constructor calling is a top to bottom. Top to bottom. First, which class constructor is called? Parent. Afterwards, but finalizer is bottom to top. First, child class finalizer is called. Afterwards, parent class finalizer is called. I'll prove you. Watch. Right now, you cannot understand because you're showing the same message. Instance created, destroyed, destroyed. So which one is called first? We don't know. So better go to the first class. And here I'm writing 1. And in the second class, let us write 2. So that it will give a clarity for us. Watch. What's called first? Parent. Afterwards? So parent destructor calling is required here, but it will be in the reverse order. Simple here. You want to construct a 2-story building, a G plus 2. Three floors you want to G plus 2. How do you build? Ground floor, first floor. Can you build second floor, first floor, ground floor? Huh? No? Okay. Now you want to demolish the building. How do you demolish? Second floor, first floor, ground floor. Can you demolish the ground floor first? If you demolish the ground floor first, that building will come and fall on you only now. Okay. So just a simple common sense what we apply there. When you want to build from bottom to top we go. When we want to demolish, top to bottom. Now it is the reverse. Here we are seeing reverse. What is it? Constructor calling is top to bottom approach. Finalizer calling is bottom to top approach. Why, sir? Why like this? Because child cannot initialize without parent initialization because child depends on parent. What should initialize first? Parent. Afterwards, child. Now in the destruction process, when child depends on the parent, can I destroy the parent first? Understand there? Child depends on parent. So can I destroy the parent first? You can't. Why? If parent is destroyed first, what about the child now? So that's why child should be destroyed first and afterwards parent should be destroyed. Point clearer all of you? So that's what. So now also calling will be done, but the calling is going to be in the reverse order. It's in the reverse order. Understood everything about a finalizer? Yes or not? Okay, this is all about the finalizer. Finally, let me conclude this discussion here. Let me conclude this. What I want to conclude is just a question before you. What is it? Is it mandatory to define a finalizer in my class? Is it mandatory to define a finalizer in my class? To define a finalizer in our class. Okay, listen. As per object-oriented programming, finalizers are very important for releasing the memory. Releasing the memory. So the first point I'm telling is, as per object-oriented programming, finalizers are very important for releasing the memory. Okay? If we are working with unmanaged object-oriented programming languages like C++, it is mandatory to define finalizers under the class. Point clear? Read it carefully. If we are working with unmanaged, remember unmanaged and managed? Managed means which runs under a runtime. Unmanaged means which runs under the OS. I given the pictures and all the things to you already. Which runs under the OS is called unmanaged, which runs under the runtime, like .NET runtime or Java runtime or Python runtime. They're called managed. So if you're working with unmanaged object-oriented programming languages like C++, it is mandatory to define finalizers under the class. Whereas if we are working with what? Managed object-oriented programming languages like what? Java, Python, and .NET languages. Okay, and .NET languages, defining a finalizer in the class is only optional. Is only optional because here memory management is completely taken care by. Are you guys clearer? Understood? Huh? So my intention today is not about is not about finalizer, guys. Really, defining finalizers in the code is not mandatory also. My intention of explaining about the concept today is not about finalizers. Why I explained you this, to make you understand how the garbage collector functions. Did you catch my point or not? My real concentration is not on a finalizer. My concentration is all about garbage collector. Did you understand my point? What did I write? Your finalizer, object destroyer. That's all, nah? I did not write any great logic also there. My point is to make you understand how the garbage collector is going to function to you. So I have used finalizer as an opportunity to teach you about the garbage collector. I hope I am clear. Okay, now? But one more thing we need to remember here also. Here also we have a small clause. What is that? In managed object-oriented programming languages also, sometimes we need finalizers. 100% you cannot say no, sometimes yes. When? That is, in case we are dealing with any unmanaged resources. In case we are dealing with any unmanaged resources like files and databases. Like files and databases. What exactly is it? Listen. Actually, all of you learned about file handling in C language. fopen function which opens a file. Now you can read from a file and again you call fclose to close the file. So we learned about this file management in the C language. I can open a file, I can write into the file, I can close the file, I can handle a file. Is it mandatory to close a file which is open? It's a general question. It's not about any language or anything. General question I'm asking. Is it mandatory to close a file which is opened? Yes, yeah. If you don't close, the data won't be saved. And if someone is trying to access, it will tell you, what is it? File being used by some other application. Haven't you faced this type of problems anytime? You will get this. Some application is working with the file now. Now you suddenly go and try to open the file. It won't open. It'll tell you what? Someone is using the application. Sorry, someone is using the file. So closing a file is very, very important. Closing a file is very, very important. Now, in .NET, guys, I have a class called file stream class. I have a class called as file stream class. By using this file stream class, I can open a file on the hard disk. Listen carefully. Using a file stream class, I can open a file on the hard disk. Are you clearer or not? What I can do? I can open a file on the hard disk. Okay, file is open. After opening the file on the hard disk, I was writing into the file. And I forgot to close the file. Now. In end of the program, garbage collector will come now and destroys the file stream object. But garbage collector will not close the file. Did you understand my point or not? Garbage collector will destroy file stream object, but garbage collector will not close the file. Why? File is not a part of your framework or the runtime, guys. File is a part of your OS. So garbage collector cannot deal with unmanaged objects. It can only deal with managed, but not with unmanaged resources. Same problem with the databases also. Database connections, if they are not closed, garbage collector won't close them. Garbage collector will leave them. So in such type of scenarios, what they suggest us, they suggest us to write a finalizer, and inside the finalizer, write the code for closing the files, closing the database connections. That type of code put in the finalizer. So even you forget that also, tomorrow when the program is getting ended, garbage collector will call the finalizer. Sorry, when the object is getting destroyed, garbage collector will call the finalizer and closes the files and database connections. Are you clear? Only when we are dealing with? No, sir, I am not dealing with any unmanaged resources at all in my code. Then finalizers are waste. Point clearer or not? See, this is what I mentioned up here. A conclusion about finalizers. All of you can read this point. Read. In general, C# does require as much memory management. It is needed when you develop with a language that doesn't target a runtime with garbage collector. Example, C++. Already on the top I said C++ requires it. This is because the .NET framework garbage collector implicitly manages the allocation and releasing of resources of your instance. However, when your application encapsulates unmanaged resources such as files, databases, and network connections, you should use finalizers to free those resources. In such scenarios only, finalizers are required in our code. Otherwise, most of the cases, we never use or we never define finalizers in our code. Am I clearer or not? Understood my point here? So tomorrow they can be asking you in an interview, do I need a finalizer in my code? Don't 100% say no. Are you clear? Finalizers, mostly we don't require, but there are some scenarios where finalizers are required in our application. What scenarios? If your application is dealing with any unmanaged resources in the code, in such scenarios, finalizer should be used for freeing up those resources. Otherwise, finalizers are not required in my application. Point clearer? Understood everything about the finalizer? So till now we covered 4 members of a class. What are the 4? Fields, methods, constructors, finalizers. So tomorrow we'll deal with the 5th member, that is properties. Okay, let's stop here. We'll meet tomorrow.